and welcome to the first episode of Vested Interest. This is an online pitch competition that we put together for direct-to-consumer e-commerce brands. My name is Rohan. I manage our investor partnerships here at Gorgias, and we're super excited to launch this as a way to help companies scale. For those unfamiliar that are watching right now, Gorgias is an e-commerce focused help desk that brings all communication channels and support into one place, built for multiple different channels, including email, social media, chat, phone, SMS. Really just use Gorgias to centralize each customer's conversation history across all of these channels. And the cool thing is it's built specifically for e-commerce stores. And given the fact that we have full integrations with Shopify and Magento, we actually work with a ton of amazing brands all along the D2C spectrum that would be great investment opportunities for investors. Hence vested interest. So this is a way for investors to source new companies for their portfolios, and it's a way for brands to also scale. So let's hop right into it. The format is as follows. We're going to have 3 brands pitch to a panel of 3 investors that you see on stage, and I'll introduce them in a sec. Each brand is going to have 10 minutes for their pitch. They may share a deck. They may speak plainly to the camera. They're welcome to share anything with respect to the background of their business, how much capital they're looking to raise, what they would do with the capital, revenue numbers, any other relevant statistics, so on and so forth. The investors on the panel will then have around 10 to 12 minutes collectively to ask questions based on anything and everything that the brand either said or did not say. The investors and I at the end will then sync up to pick a winner based on the brand itself, potential for growth, overall likelihood to invest, and overall feel. The winner is going to be guaranteed a conversation with at least one of the investors after the fact, and potentially all 3, we'll see. And also a free workshop on fundraising from our partners over at Class Rebel, which is a 12-hour course spread out over a few days. In addition to that, all 3 brands are also going to receive credits to Gorgias, an email marketing audit from Kronos, full funnel audits from Mute6, credits at Skubana, and credits at SMS Bump. And most importantly, they're getting direct exposures to 3 seasoned investors. And these guys are all class acts. Known these guys for several months now. This is going to be pretty amazing. So let's introduce them. On the panel today, we have Sumit Shah from Swift Arc Ventures. We have Dave Shin from Rosecliff Ventures, and then Vlad Bertrand from Sequoia Ventures. I'm going to toss it over to you guys for a quick second, maybe a brief intro from each of the 3 of you. Sumit, do you want to kick things off for us?
Sure. And Rohan, I think I've known you longer than a few months, but
Several months, maybe a year.
It's like we're becoming an old married couple slowly.
Pre-COVID, that's what's important. Pre-COVID. That's how you know the real ones are out there.
Yeah, literally. Hey, everybody. My name is Sumit Shah. I run pipeline and new investments over for an early stage and growth stage venture capital firm called Swift Arc Ventures. We officially launched last April. We are in the stages of launching a $100 million fund dedicated to leading and co-leading seed and Series A and growth stage investments in the world of consumer products and brands. We also are working on launching an additional pre-seed, pre-revenue fund called Venture Labs, which will be ultimately $50 million. And we have one company in the health and safety technology space that's actually very relevant to COVID right now that we've made investment into. And we're also working into different sectors that are very consumer facing that also go a little bit more into consumer technology. But primarily it's a lot of it in the world of product and brand. My background comes from the world of venture in consumer as well and in operations. So I helped doing a lot of freelance work in operations, biz dev, strategy, partnerships work for multiple startups, agencies, and brands, as well as helping to launch another early stage consumer fund in early 2014. Was there for 3.5 years, invested in companies like Lola, The Wing, Rockets of Awesome, Allbirds, Harry's, led seed rounds for companies like The Sill, Yumi, I can go on. But been in this space for over 10 years now on all different levels, and really excited to meet and learn more about all 3 of the startups. And I've actually heard about Kitty and 5 in the past because I've only had one personal angel investment, an incredible woman named Lauren Billy, who actually was at one of their parties. So really excited to learn more. And everybody else, of course.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, Sumit. Impressive background there. Hard to beat, but Dave, do you want to give it a shot? You're on mute, buddy.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely don't have the resume like Sumit, but mine will be very nice and sweet and short. I'm on the investment team here at Rosecliff Ventures. We're a secondary stage agnostic firm based in New York. We have about $800 million across 7 funds. and about 70 plus portfolio companies ranging from traditional consumer like Allbirds and Casper, and digital health tech companies like Keeps and Roman. So very, we pride ourselves in being sector agnostic, although the two sectors that we don't invest in, which I think we're in the clear here, is life sciences, more on the drug development side, and cryptocurrencies. But other than that, everything else is fair game. And in terms of stage, we're also stage agnostic, but we typically love to kind of like get involved with the founders early on. So I would say mostly in the pre-seed, seed, and Series A stage.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, Dave. Last but certainly not least, Vlad. You're on mute there, Vlad.
All good?
All good.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. It's great to be on the panel. So I'm a principal at Ecommerce Ventures. We're an early stage investor. Our sweet spot is probably the seed stage, and we invest across all the consumer categories. So we have a number of investments in e-commerce and in well-known direct-to-consumer brands like Ollie, like The Inside or 10 Little. And but we also invest in what you would call mobile apps or consumer software, and have a number of investments there. We invest globally, so we have most of our investments here in the US, but we also have companies in India and in Europe as well.
Awesome. Thanks a ton, Vlad. Perfect. And on the brand side, we have some amazing growth stories. The first brand is Dope, pitched by Kelsey and Israel Marrera. Dope serves up cookie dough. They've grown their e-commerce business substantially over the last several months, and you're going to find out more in a sec. And they're looking to scale. Great founder, great story. The second brand that we have is Kinder Beauty, pitched by Andrew Bernstein. They're a vegan and cruelty-free consumer goods lifestyle brand. Their first product to market is the Kinder Beauty Box, a health and ethical beauty box. Their subscriber base just keeps going up and up, and for good reason. And then last, but again, certainly not least, is Kitty and Vibe, pitched by Cameron Armstrong. They are reinventing swimsuit shopping through their first to market sizing metric, which considers both the hip and the inseam size for the absolute best fit. They've generated a lot of hype, and I'm excited for you all to hear more. Without further ado, let's get started. We're just going to bring Kelsey up on stage. Give us 2 seconds here.
I think we made it. Hello.
Awesome. Kelsey and Israel, how are you?
We're doing good.
Fantastic. Glad to hear. Thanks so much for joining. You guys obviously have an amazing brand. We've chatted, Kelsey, over the last few weeks, I guess now. Israel, great to meet you. Great business. And the three investors panel, I know, are going to love everything that you have to say. We've got a bunch of people tuned in the live viewing right now. Again, we're going to record this and throw it out on all our streams afterwards as well. But without further ado, I'll toss it over to you. You have 10 minutes to get going here.
Cool. Do you mind giving me a moment? I'm going to pull up the screen share.
I won't start the timer just yet.
Thank you. It says stage is full. Do you know where I can screen share? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I think it required one to drop. Thank you. Awesome. Technology. Can you guys see my screen okay? Can you see it all right?
Yes, we can. Sorry, I was on mute.
No worries. So we're full screen on Dope?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Okay. Quick disclaimer before I begin. I just had dental surgery a couple days ago, so about half my mouth is looking less happy than the other half, but we're going to rock this. Is going to come back for Q&A, so I'll take you guys through the slides.
All right. See you soon, guys.
Awesome. All right. So in case you guys haven't heard, people love cookie dough. They like sneaking a few bites and baking the rest into cookies, or sneaking a lot of bites. And Dope brings spoon lickers together so you can forget what your mama told you. We make legit cookie dough, and we believe in a life lived raw. When we say it's legit, we're talking about a couple things here. So you can eat it raw, or you can bake it into cookies. It's real stuff. It's made in a kitchen, not a lab, preservative-free recipe, and it's authentic. We're a brand that's speaking truth to shared struggles. Let's talk a little bit more about that. But first, here's some people who are on board with us with the cookie dough craze. We've served more than 250,000 customers since I started in 2017. We focus on millennials, mission-driven consumers, young parents, and young professionals. And I'll tell you a little bit about how I got here. So I started at Intel at 16 years old. I was an intern and hustled part-time through my school years, full-time every summer, until becoming a full-time employee after that. Also earning a degree in marketing at ASU over this time, all the while battling alcoholism, leaning on alcohol to deal with the anxiety and the stress I was facing. But I confronted my issues with alcohol in 2015, and I got sober, and it totally rocked. And my life has completely blossomed since then. I started figuring out what really makes me me. What are the things that I love? What makes me come alive? And I was baking every night and weekends after work at Intel, and taking some of those treats to the office and continuing to hear that, you know, I could maybe do something with that. I was also dipping a toe or two into veganism. So I was a pretty crappy vegan, to be honest. I was using butter frequently, but leaving the eggs out. I found a great substitute for raw eggs. And now cookie dough, which I had long time, sweet tooth since I've been born. Cookie dough I've always eaten a bit of and baked some of. I could now eat as much as I wanted raw and not have any concern over salmonella with the raw eggs or E. coli with raw flour. I'd found a way to make both of those things safe and start a business to see if other people loved cookie dough as much as I do. So I took that leap, and in 2017, quit my career with Intel and started Dope. That's my first day there, serving scoops at Dolores Park in San Francisco. It was a great day. It was 4/20, 2017. So we had lots of willing participants to try out my new creation, and got some great feedback on that this product might have some legs. Since then, it has been a wild ride. I cannot believe it's 2020 now, and Dope has been featured on Shark Tank. I was named Forbes 30 Under 30 last year, and in 40 Under 40 here in Vegas this year. I have opened a store on the Vegas Strip. I've grown our direct-to-consumer business like I couldn't have imagined. And the best of all of this is I've been able to share my message of hope through Dope with more than 250,000 customers and counting. Teamwork makes the dream work. You just saw this guy right here, Israel. He goes by Iz. He's from Brazil originally, came to America to pursue his dreams. And when I met him, I fell in love for a lot of different reasons, but his business professional skills and experience were an amazing addition to the Dope team. Since Iz joined the team, we have grown our e-commerce sales 100x, streamlined our business operations, and we've really focused in on what makes the most sense for Dope, both financially and to have the best brand recognition with our customers. I have to read this line out loud because I just think it's great. Hustle would be his middle name, but they don't have middle names in Brazil. I think that's a great way to sum up Iz. You'll hear more from him later. So I talked a little bit about me being able to share my mission and message of hope with others, both from my own story and my recognition that I am not alone in what I've gone through. Other people need to hear a journey through difficulty and triumphing into something awesome. And I've been able to do that. And I love being able to share my story and encourage other people to go after what makes them come alive. So we're all about raw cookie dough and real conversations that feed the soul. At Dope, mental health matters. Mental health and addiction recovery are at the core of what we live for. Life is raw, and we think cookie dough helps. So we work to elevate the conversation with a pledge that we have online for the community to sign, saying you'll reach out when you need help and you'll be there for a friend when they need you. We walk the walk at Dope. We offer mental health days. It's a no financial penalty day off when you need it, no questions asked, and it opens a more honest dialogue between employer and employee. I'm also committed to sharing my journey far and wide, removing any vulnerabilities about sharing what may have not been so pretty about my past and focusing about what's freaking awesome now. And we donate 1% of all of our sales to a nonprofit that provides affordable mental health care and substance abuse treatment. How do we do this? So where's the business happening? We really started with a focus for 2.5 years on how to get the most brand awareness with a physical impression with people at storefronts. I also focus heavily on catering in the early years, just any way to get someone to come and meet Dope, see what we're all about, and in person realize that we give a you-know-what about the world and see what we're doing. So we reached so many people from all over the world. We had 98% new customers every month at our storefronts. We have our Vegas storefront here and vending machines in the Las Vegas airport. And e-commerce, while it has been around at Dope since 2017, It was always sort of on the side. I was waiting to build the brand awareness with things like these stores and our appearances on Shark Tank and other news outlets to really have a name that would stand out when you did see it for e-commerce. And we've seen tremendous success in that space. So I'll talk a little bit more about the numbers in a second, but like I mentioned, in just 4 months, we grew our sales 100x. So on retail, something for 2021 that we're looking to expand more in, again, had explored this in the early years when I was like, let's try everything and see where dope might sell. We've reined that in and are looking towards a focused push into retail in 2021. Let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So the numbers are pretty sweet for us. Projected year-over-year growth, 19 to 20 is 152%. Our product margin's 88%. And after the fulfillment and shipping that to a customer, it's 60%. All of these numbers, again, are based on our e-commerce business here. The last 6 months, we've grown our e-commerce sales 100x in the middle of a pandemic, mind you, and our first real endeavor diving into e-commerce as well. Our average ROAS, so for every dollar we spend on ads, we make $4.2 in sales, and our refund rate is 1.1%. I'm going to jump on to talk about what we're doing to take that even to the next level. We're about to launch an entire new website. Shopify Plus agency built this out top to bottom optimization, boosting our AOV, which is around $45 right now, and increasing our conversion rates, which is around 3% right now. We're launching some new packaging. I've got a few of them right here for you. So we've got some awesome new looks. We've got characters for some of our favorite flavors. Literally, someone just ordered 16 pounds of Cookie Monster the other week, and we shipped it to him. So we've got some, ride or die fans, as you would say, that really know what they love, and we're kind of bringing some life to our flavors and our packaging. Launching a loyalty and rewards program, seasonal flavors, build your own box, and our lean supply chain. We've learned so much, and we're really tightening it up. Brand loyalty is our business at Dope. For the last 3 years, like I mentioned, we've been seeing tons of new people. We have 40,000 spoon lickers on our email list and growing. And word of mouth is the #2 reported source of sales on our online store for our new customers. Our e-commerce return rates are around 20% right now. So the Dope difference, unlike other brands who may be selling edible cookie dough now, we are made in a kitchen, not a lab, as I mentioned. Our recipe starts from just 6 base ingredients that you'd find in your own kitchen. No preservatives. We go from there to get a little wild and add sprinkles or add Oreos and just dig in and treat yourself. Best of all, it's edible and bakeable. We use butter, not shortening, for that melt in your mouth, amazing buttery feel, really nostalgic, taking you back to being a kid in the kitchen. We've got a great shelf life, 45 days refrigerated or a year in the freezer and 2 weeks at room temperature. We are mission-led, not just mission-driven. It's not an afterthought. It's what drives me every day to keep building Dope. And we're an authentic, unexpected brand. Here's some reviews from Spoon Lickers. We've got more than 1,000 5-star customer reviews after just building out this online business over the last 6 to 8 months, as I mentioned. And the best thing about it is we get a ton of stuff on our customer service. We've gone above and beyond to have a support crew that goes next level for every customer, and our happiness guarantee is in place of our refund policy. We really do what it takes to make the customers happy, and it makes an impact. I was on Shark Tank, as you might have seen, got some amazing accolades from these incredible investors. And while they were out for reasons around health concerns and whatnot, it was an awesome experience. And they said things like Mark Cuban here saying what I've done is amazing, and everything about it says it's a good investment. And I hope you guys agree too. So some of our projections and how we've grown over the years. So over the last 3 years, as I mentioned, we've gone through a global pandemic even in 2020, and Dope has achieved hockey stick growth. In 2017, we were profitable from the second month. In 2018, we grew 6x, and we were serving 20,000 customers each month during peak season at our Pier 39 storefront. 2019 was a year of learning. I realized a lot about seasonality of retail in our San Francisco location and the real tremendous cost of operating in San Francisco, and made the difficult decision to close down that storefront. Though emotional because it was my first one, I'm not afraid to make hard decisions when it's the right thing for the business. And we opened our Las Vegas storefront that year. At the end of that year, made the decision to focus on e-commerce, and you can see how that's paid off in 2020. So it takes dough to make dough, and that may be where you guys come in. We're looking for $2 million to continue crushing the direct-to-consumer game. $800,000 for ad expansion. We're looking to test and learn on things like podcasts, connected TV, YouTube influencers. We've gotten our understanding around Facebook and Instagram and Google, but looking for some exploratory budget to go and test and learn in these other areas. Support staff for the operations and finance side, product R&D to continue developing and getting creative on how we serve this, and agency support on the creative side and marketing agencies. So I think I'm just over 10 minutes, but I think I'll open it up for Q&A.
I was about to be super rude and interject. 10:43, we'll let you go. That was amazing, Kelsey. Thank you so much. Really, really refined pitch, and obviously great story and great brand behind you there. We'll open it up for questions. I mean, anyone want to get started here?
So I'm gonna stop screen sharing so I don't blast you guys. Okay, there we go.
I can jump in.
Awesome.
Awesome. That was an incredible pitch. I think that was a great story, and it was just an awesome story.
Thank you.
So I mean, I'd love to learn a little bit more about the supply chain. I think you said within the e-commerce business, the gross margins were about 88%, and then the fully landed margins about 68%, or 62% around there. So lost about like 25%. So what is it within the supply chain for that loss? Is it kind of like specificities within like the movement of the products, and is there like a temperature control or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Iz talk. Overarching look, it definitely is having to ship a perishable product, so we do ship it cold. It's more than room temperature in these UPS or FedEx, USPS trucks, and we've done a ton of learning over the last 6 months on the fulfillment supply chain in general. Had our fair share of understanding a new landscape, but Iz can kind of talk about the current breakdown that gets us between those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you nailed it down when you said it's exactly the temperature control of it. When we're talking about the product margin, we're talking just about ingredients, direct labor, and the packaging of the product. So this guy right here, sorry.
I could be Vanna.
And when we're talking about gross margin, obviously we're including the boxes and the coolants and the insulators and whatnot that we include in the boxes to keep the temperature control. So that's a big challenging of the perishable shipping. Time in transit is the biggest challenging of the supply chain.
Thanks for the question.
Awesome. I'll jump in now. I've got a lot of questions. And first off, congrats on your success. That's incredible to hear, not just for the fact of your growth, but your profitability margins. That's incredible to it. I noticed that there was a bit of a dip over in 2019, if you can walk me through. So I'm going to give you a bunch of questions in one shot. Walk me through a little bit what happened from here. I'm guessing due to your shipping and fulfillment across unperishable, which is why there's a 20% difference between your product and your gross margins. And let's walk me through a little bit in terms of your use of funds, because it looks like 3/4 of it is basically dedicated towards marketing. Does that mean that basically your supply chain system is really either in-house, or you just have a lot of the right co-packing partners that you feel comfortable with right now? So 3 rapid fire questions. I apologize, but I wanted to get those out.
It's okay. No worries. We love rapid fire. We're ready for this. I'll take the last one first, I guess. Let's talk about the co-packing situation. So we do have it outsourced co-packing. We've been able to find a really incredible rate. And the best thing is in just the last month, we've focused everything here in Vegas. So previously doing freight between Vallejo, for example, to Stockton, et cetera, and in Vegas. Fulfillment and co-packing are now here married in Vegas. Also, we live in Vegas, so it's nice to have that direct connection and just make sure everything's running smooth. Any other changes you'd add on that front?
No, I think you covered it all. And obviously we have that part about finance and operations because we're going to bring some people in-house just to obviously organize all the freight and forecasting production and whatnot. But the gist of it all is that we do have a very tight supply chain here in Vegas, and we don't spend a lot in freight for that.
Yeah, I think the focus for the raise is growth activity, right? Being able to spend that money on stuff that we believe is going to make us money and have the comfort to take those risks in areas that we think are going to pay off.
Mm-hmm.
I know you asked about 2019 as well. So like I mentioned, I know I had to breeze through that slide. I saw I was running low on time. So I was like, let's get through this quick. But yeah, in 2019, I did have to close the San Francisco storefront. Simultaneously was opening the store in Las Vegas, luckily 2 months before we aired on Shark Tank. So we got the boost of people going on to see, oh, did they actually open the store they were raising for? I didn't get a deal in the tank, but I got another investor 2 months later. So I had put that capital to opening the store, and the timing just worked out fantastic to be open right before it aired. But yeah, the staffing challenges of paying $16, $17, $20 an hour for someone to serve cookie dough in San Francisco was just not making sense at the end of the day. Pier 39 had its challenges with seasonality. We had like the worst winter in 10 years that they had seen of foot traffic decreasing. And all come to it, I'm very glad I made the decision I did, given what happened this year with the pandemic, you've seen our hockey stick growth, and the net income being where it is in part to having made the decision to close that Pier 39 store last year, and we aren't being buried by, rent being due for a store we could make nothing from. We're making it through here with this Vegas store, which is reopened, but was a tough thing to be closed for 3 months, and very proud that we've been able to see the success we have in 2020. It's not a common story this year.
Right. No, totally understandable. I mean, the pandemic has been quite an interesting perspective for us.
It's unique.
One quick follow-up question. Because you're looking at your 3 strategies, right? You're looking at retail, you're looking at your vending / sort of pop-up levels, and of course, e-commerce. As you're looking to scale out the business itself, when you're looking at that world of retail, since you, especially for just touching point on the world of San Francisco, what are some of the strategies that you're excited about in terms of testing as well? Is it partners or even finding the right kind of offline channels here?
Okay, I lost the second half of you. I don't know if that cut out for anybody else, but I think you were asking about the channels we're going into, what we're looking in as far as retail is regarded.
Right. So retail, both I guess on the wholesale side of things and retail, that's everything from pop-ups and parachuting. I also ask because I may be able to help you with a couple of introductions, whether it's people like neighborhood goods or pop-up grocer, et cetera, from there. So we can talk about that.
We were in pop-up grocer in February, actually. When they were in LA. So that was awesome. So I think what I learned about the product and making sure that we weren't just going to go out on a shelf before people knew us, that retail strategy coming in 2021 is really to have let all this time pass where people are asking for it to be in their local, Costco or Target, trying to figure out the right approach there. There's a lot of customer testing that I'd like to be doing in early 2021 on the packaging, making sure we have the exact right form factor and where we'll serve it in the store. So there's still some exploration and learning to do in that area. Should it be in the frozen? Should it be in refrigerated? Do we want to be next to, the Nestle where you look at it, or isn't it confection? I got a lot of ideas, as you could tell. So as far as the pop-up side, though, we have pulled back from I would call it somewhat of a distraction of doing catering this and pop up here and little thing here. It's a lot of intensity on the labor side and not as much give back for the profit side. What I have been open to continue to explore when people are allowed to gather again. We did get invited to some high profile things that are just worth being there to scoop and serve and get people to see our name. We were supposed to be at the NFL draft, but that was one of the first things chopped when the pandemic started. So things like that are still on the radar, certainly, and having a staff facility here in Vegas is the perfect go-to if we need to do something like that, or catering large events. We found great success with what we can do through e-commerce, though. I mean, we're serving, for example, one national corporation has been ordering hundreds of boxes from us to go out to their different employees who are newly work from home. So we've got a lot of great potential there to have scale that's profitable.
This was an amazing pitch, so thank you so much. Given that you guys are now focusing more on e-commerce, I'd love to get a sense of the key learnings of the last few months. You've started to spend money in the channel, you've grown a lot. So it would be great if you could share what you learned, biggest takeaways, and how that's going to inform your strategy from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one off the bat, the biggest learning has got to be in fulfillment. And I know he's already smiling because of it. You would have thought we would have just crashed and burned this year with how difficult it was to navigate that. We had a 24.8% net income in April, doing $375,000. But we, at that scale, had to make some adjustments and jump into outsourced fulfillment. We were doing that here in Las Vegas with our staff. It started slowly from during the day packing things up. And then it was we were doing graveyard shifts. And then we're we don't even physically have enough room for 2,500 boxes in this store. So, we were every week figuring out what was the next scale up step. And, I think we made a difficult but quick decision to outsource it to a company. And, we had a lot of learnings from that. And I can share more offline about that experience. But yeah, I think we've learned a lot and takeaways from that.
What about, just quick follow-up, what about on the marketing and customer acquisition side?
Yeah, so on the marketing side, I mean, December was the first time we really turned on Facebook and Instagram ads, hired an agency to start running it. We've learned a ton about our audiences, who resonates the most. You can make a bunch of guesses about this, but men, for example, have a higher AOV and are a higher click-through rate for us on ads. Whereas you'd think, oh, cookie dough, but it's a lot about the brand, and it's a lot about listening to who's eating it and who we're resonating with and leaning in that direction. So audience learning has probably been the biggest takeaway from marketing for us. And just remaining authentic. I think it's very easy for an ad agency to be like, oh my God, best cookie dough ever. And all this cheesy stuff. And I'm like, that's just not us. We got to follow our heart and go with the brand voice and commit to share my story and commit to share what Dope's about, even if it's not the best clickbait caption you can get, and it's working. I'm very proud of a 4.2 average. I love the thumbs up. Everyone's like, I'm muted. I'm not taking the risk again.
I'll get off mute for everybody. Yeah, that was fantastic. Thanks, Vlad, for the questions. Kelsey and Israel, that was a fantastic pitch and Q&A period. I think you got a lot answered within that, 22-minute time frame, which is fantastic. Very, very seasoned from a pitch perspective. Love to see it, and a great kickoff to vested interest in what we're trying to do here. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. That was fantastic. I'm now going to kick you off stage. If any conversations need to take place after the fact, I'm happy to set those up behind the scenes. We'll kick you off now. We're going to slowly bring up Andrew Bernstein.
Thank you guys so much.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Have a good day. All right, we're still here.
Okay, I'll find Andrew. Awesome. Andrew, how's it going?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear, crystal clear. Awesome. Well, I won't speak too long. This is Andrew Bernstein from Kinder Beauty. He just had a baby, by the way, so make sure to congratulate him down in the chat. That's the most important thing of all.
Make sure to remind me what day it is, because I'm just in the thick of it.
Oh, it's November. Don't worry about it.
November, perfect.
Yeah. November 2021. That's where we all want to be right now. Andrew, I won't say too much. I'll throw it over to you and you can get started. You have 10 minutes.
Wonderful. Well, first off, congrats, Kelsey. That was an awesome pitch. If you were on the market, I would hire you to be my official pitcher. That was really fantastic and entertaining. I'm not going to share a deck with you guys today. I'm a bit more of a storyteller. And I think I'll just jump in by saying to understand Kinder Beauty and the brand I've built, it helps to understand a bit about me. I came into being a founder through pretty unconventional means. Just a few years ago, I was a professional animal rights activist. So my background is I spent about 5 years working at PETA, the largest animal rights organization in the world. And I like to say I had the coolest job in animal rights. I was in charge of PETA's very robust and iconic celebrity marketing division. So basically I was flying all over the world to wherever influencers and athletes and celebrities who cared about animals were, and working with them to produce, various ad campaigns that were seen by millions and millions of people around the world. And when I was there, it was this period of time that I like to call the golden age of for-profit activism. And what I mean is, while I was busting my butt, staying at Motel 6s and flying across the world on connecting flights in the nonprofit life, I was watching brands in the for-profit sector like Beyond Meat, like Impossible Foods, step up and not just achieve insane financial success, obviously, but also really change the national conversation. And looking at the way that mainstream brands like Burger King and Dunkin' Donuts have embraced their products, it's mind blowing. And it's almost this moment for somebody who spent 5 years in nonprofit, grinding it out, being like, you can change the world more through the way consumers are spending their dollars than you necessarily can through 5 years of work in nonprofit. And so for me, I knew that my sort of future was going to be more entrepreneurial in the for-profit space, and certainly holding strong to my activist roots and values. And as I started to sort of think about what that was going to look like for me, I saw that in the food space. So looking at outside of the obvious success of Impossible Foods and Beyond Meat, the sort of struggle with getting the world to be, a more vegan place from an entrepreneurial perspective is like you're constantly trying to get mainstream consumers to shop in a different aisle of the grocery store. For instance, you're trying to convince people like my mom and dad that tofu is delicious. And like, it is delicious. It's great. I eat tofu all the time. But I believe that there is that inherent challenge and hurdle. And so as I was thinking, I was like, well, what if I could totally invert that dynamic? And what if I could, instead of trying to get mainstream consumers to come to me, what if I could come to them? And that led me down this road towards realizing that there was a really unique proposition there, that if I could take very popular mainstream consumer goods, things that people were already buying, and offer them an ethical alternative, I might be onto something. And that's what led me to launch Kinder Beauty. And so what Kinder Beauty is a cause-driven consumer goods lifestyle brand. We like to say that our mission is to make the world a kinder place for people, for animals, and for the planet. And our very first product to market is Kinder Beauty Box. We didn't have to reinvent the wheel. We obviously looked at the incredible success over the last few years of brands like Birchbox, Ipsy, BoxyCharm, FabFitFun, all of whom are $500 million or billion-dollar plus businesses, as I'm sure you guys know. And we saw a lot of problems with the way they were running their businesses. Essentially, they were bringing a lot of customers in through the front of the door, into the front door, and losing them out the back door because there was no mission, there was no why. It was a very transactional relationship, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. But so, in terms of what Kinder Beauty Box is, it is a beauty box like those offerings, except it is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, non-toxic, and eco-friendly. So each month, our subscribers pay $25. And they receive a box on their doorstep that has at least $75 worth of expert vetted, hand-picked skincare, makeup, hair care accessories, and more. And we launched back in January of 2019. And I think it's safe to say at this point that my hypothesis, my theory, has been proven correct. We've had a lot of great traction. So in our first year of business in 2019, we did just over $1 million in revenue. 400,000 of that came in Q4 last year. And so far this year, we have been absolutely on fire. We've done 1.4 million so far this year to date. We are on track to hit 3.3 million. My current run rate is 3.7. So we are very, very happy about where we are. In fact, in the last 5 months, we have seen our monthly revenue grow by over 300%. To get a little bit more granular, I had 4,000 active subscribers as of February of this year. This month, I am approaching 11,000 active subscribers, and we are not slowing down at all. It has been pretty insane and exciting for our team. So let's just sort of talk about a little bit about what makes Kinder Beauty different overall, and then I want to tell you about what's coming next for us. So in terms of what makes us different, and I've started to touch on the idea of the other brands in this space being very transactional. To me, that is if you talk to any subscription box founder, they're going to tell you their number one problem is retention. How do you keep people subscribed? My approach to that has been my approach to brand building has been a mission first, community first approach, almost to the point where the products we're sending, which are competitive or better than any of our other beauty boxes out there, but they're secondary to the reason why people are signing up, and that's because they believe in our mission. They are really wanting to have their consumer dollars ethically aligned with where their own belief systems are. They also want to use products that are healthy and safe and haven't been tested on animals. So we offer this kind of really unique approach to, again, this really popular market-proven product. And then the other difference is we're influencer founded. So my two business partners are both, I hate all of these terms, but celebrities, media personalities, influencers. They would probably cringe at all of those terms as well. One of them is Daniela Monet. She is a unbelievable human being who she started out as a TV actress. She has over 4.4 million followers on Instagram. She's grown over her following by over 1 million followers just in the last year since she had her first baby. She's a very passionate animal rights activist and a longtime vegan. We met through working together on several animal rights campaigns at PETA. She's also our head of social media. And our other partner is Ivana Lynch, who was one of the actresses in all of the Harry Potter films. She has a huge cult following fan base around her, also a very well-known vegan activist. Both of them have very successful podcasts. Ivana has a podcast all about vegan lifestyle called The Chick Peeps, and Daniela and her husband have a podcast called Adulting Like a Mother Father, which is all about their relatively new journey into parenthood. Not as new as mine, but it's been good to have a business partner who's kind of like been there and publishing content about it. And so, you know, those things, what having influencer founders has done for me is, number one, we get a ton of organic press. We just have a very organic, sticky, buzzy, relationship with press. We've been featured as recently as last month in Cosmopolitan, Allure, Pop Sugar. We've had profiles done in Bustle and Forbes. And we've never had a PR rep. So it's really all people coming to us or finding us, and we are happy about it. And it's kind of a fun gift that keeps on giving. They've also, Danielle and Ivana have helped provide a serious sense of trust and legitimacy for our brand with mainstream consumers. So let's talk about, you know, where we're going and what comes next, because that's something that gets me really, really excited. My goals over the next 12 months are, number one, to take Kinder Beauty Box from the 11,000 subscribers we're at now to 25,000 subscribers. Honestly, that may be pretty conservative. I'm giving myself a target that I know we can hit. The other thing that's a major initiative of ours and a big focus of this fundraise is we're going to be launching Kinder Baby. Kinder Baby is our first complimentary product. It is a quarterly lifestyle subscription box aimed at infants aged 0 to 24 months. So basically, it'll be 8 quarterly boxes broken up by age group: 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 9 months, and so on. The idea behind this is not just to be baby care products, like the kinds of cruelty-free and vegan products you'd find in Kinder Beauty Box, but really it's going to be almost more of like a FabFitFun for babies, in the sense that it will have everything from books and toys that instill compassion, empathy, kindness, low-key a love for animals. We won't hit them over the head too hard with that, but that will definitely be in there. Things like organic cotton swaddles, sustainably sourced, eco-friendly pacifiers, and really all of that parents are in desperate need of in those first 2 years of being a parent, and where they're trying so hard to find time to do their own research to figure out which of the products are actually safe enough, which are ethically made, which brands can they comfortably support, and so on. And I know, because I am really right in the middle of it. That's really the kind of bare bones of my pitch here, which is, you know, we have every plan to keep our eye on the ball with Kinder Beauty Box, continue scaling as aggressively as we've been scaling, throw some more gasoline on that fire, and then certainly get Kinder Baby off the ground, and to do it in short order. Like I said, we're raising $1 million through a convertible note. I've really just begun the process, and this is my first fundraise, so this is all new to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
I'll start. Great pitch. Thank you so much, and fantastic mission. Can you tell us a little bit more about the boxes themselves, how you go about curating the products and the brands that go in the boxes, whether you're putting sample size products or full size ones, and lastly, whether there's any effort around personalization, customization of what goes into the boxes?
Great question. Yes, let me address all of that. So we have, as you can imagine, the success of our business is very much around that sense of trust with the consumer. So we have a strict vetting process in terms of making sure that every company we work with is 100% cruelty-free, hands down across the board. And then the products we curate have to be 100% vegan and have to be clean by our definition of what clean beauty is, which is different for every person you ask. We follow the Credo beauty standards, which is considered by most people in the beauty industry to be the gold standard of what clean beauty actually is. So we have a solid but small product sourcing team. So at any time, we're having conversations with between 100 and 200 different brands. We hear from about 20 brands per week. that are looking to get into our boxes. And then on top of that, we're constantly reaching out to those really top tier household name brands that our consumers will recognize and love. My two partners, Daniela and Ivana, truly do sample and approve and hence curate every product that goes into the box. My wife, Audrey, also has, I would get in trouble for not saying she also plays a large role in that. And so our model with the brands is we pay roughly 7% of the retail value of the product. We do offer various marketing initiatives for companies that are willing to give us a better cost share. In terms of full size versus sample size, we do a mix of both. So we guarantee at least 2 full size products in each box, and we guarantee at least $75 retail value of the products in each box. We have had the boxes have as high a value as $165. Did I answer everything you had there on that front?
The last one was around personalization.
Personalization. So, I'll be totally honest with you. That has been, it's one of those things that is on our list of something we would like to figure out over the course of the next couple of years. And it is inherently tricky. It's tricky for a small business like ours, at least with our current fulfillment operation. At shipping out 11,000 boxes per month, it's already a battle to get everything received, packed up, kitted, and out the door to get to our consumers quickly and on time and with great kitting accuracy. When you add in who knows how many various permutations based on personalization, it obviously is a whole different beast from a logistics point of view. So is it something that I do want to tackle? And I have been verbal about that in interviews and such. And with our customers, yes, it is something we want to approach. I don't want to lie to you. I don't have the answer right now, and I'm going to need more infrastructure and likely a new fulfillment operation to be able to execute on that.
Awesome. Great responses and answers and everything, Andrew. It's great to meet, and congrats on the traction. So want to touch on that as well, because I keep thinking about it, and this is from personal experience with the Birch boxes and the bespoke posts of the world. So I've been working with both founders. Haley's a friend, and the bespoke posts are good friends as well. But one thing that they've told me that has worked really well is learning, of course, from the customer as well, but also doing as much in the internal data in terms of recognizing what products and areas that we're looking for. Walk me, how are you right now listening to your customers, both in terms of the response rate from the products that are included from there and the categories themselves? And I know that over time, you want to build a better personalization system to it. What I would love to understand is, how are you able to, if you are right now, tracking how they're responding through it, right? Because where you can get a product, how much of the percentage of products are actually getting used from there, but also gives you an opportunity heat map wise to determine what other categories and product lines you can actually use in response to attracting new brands across it all. Love to understand that kind of discovery retention process that you're getting through with your customers. Absolutely.
So I'm glad you asked that, because it gives me an opportunity to brag about our community. We like to say that we don't have customers, we don't have subscribers, we don't have consumers, we have community members, and we have family. From the first day that new prospective subscribers come to our site, and through all of the various email flows, the social media, and most importantly and relevant here, our Facebook group, which is a private Facebook group full of our most loyal, diehard fans. That's the verbiage that they hear from us. And that's what I meant by getting away from that transactional dynamic and really creating a relationship with our consumers. So in terms of the feedback we're getting, it is actually a non-stop 24/7 two-way street. We actively engage our Facebook members. In fact, just last week, we completed a series of polls about this exact topic. How are we doing? How are the products? How have they liked the last few boxes? What do they want to see more of? How can we improve? To that end, I will say that, and this is the most interesting thing about surveying our customers, we have done this quite a few times. Like I said, it's really a kind of a constant back and forth we have with them. And would you believe me that when you word map in survey responses what some of their favorite products have been, that almost every time we do it, we see those same products show up on the most favorite and the least favorite. And so what that tells me is, number one, we are never going to curate a box of products where a large group of customers say every single thing in this box was exactly what I wanted. And that's okay. We don't have to do better than that. We need to put 2 or 3 things of the 5 items in each box that are going to get customers really, really excited and give them their money's worth. And what we tell them along the line of the missions of our business, if there's something in your box that's not right for you that you can't use, donate it to a friend or a family member or a loved one that needs a pick-me-up, or donate it to a local women's shelter. And frankly, they love that. It's one of those key things that keeps customers really, really stoked, to the point where they're almost excited if they get a product that they can't use, because they're going and donating it down the street to somebody who could really get a lot of joy out of it. You know, and the other, you know, the way we approach it, there is no, it's an art, not a science, to curating products, right? I became a student of I also used to subscribe to Birchbox and some of these other products or boxes. And I would always get annoyed with 2 hair gels in the same box. And I'm like, it almost is like somebody picked up a claw machine handful of products and dumped it into a box, and that's what showed up on my doorstep. And so my approach from day one has been to put in an immense amount of thought and care into what we're curating. So in our boxes, customers will never get redundant or competitive products, and they'll never get redundant or competitive products within 1 or 2 months of each other on either side. So, we've been able to sustain that for 19 consecutive boxes now, and we have about 10 to 15% of customers who signed up in January 2019 who have not missed a month, who are still subscribed. So I think it's safe to say we've done a pretty good job of combating that inherent hurdle in this line of work.
Gotcha. No, that's a great answer. And I was reading this post from a colleague of mine who writes a blog called Napkin Math. I just dropped it right in the chat. But we're really looking at the concept of what's called intangible assets. And you're looking, when you're doing any sort of financial analysis, you have tangible products of assets and inventory and working capital, blah, 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 and everything from there. But when you look at the world of intangible assets, especially when it comes to the world of consumer, how do you make sure that you value the power of information, right? Information and customer engagement and customer insight. How can you find some sort of way to quantify that as well in terms of the growth of the company? And I think when it comes to something like a subscription box, that perspective, a combination between testimonials, the content, the responses, the energy that you get from it all, that is ultimately how you can then take something that is looked upon as intangible and quantify it to something that's more reasonable for the evolution of the business. I say that because, as we're going back to Bespoke Post, they recognize that as a massive secret weapon tool for them to keep evolving as a business, both in terms of the partnerships, but also building stuff in-house. So I just wanted to drop that there as well for yourself and everything in the chat. But great answer. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm definitely going to take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys kind of nailed it. But I just wanted to kind of double down on the retention question. So, with respect to be respectful for the terminology for your community and your family, at the end of the day, what does the trend look like? So it's incredibly impressive that at least 20% of the initial customers that you onboarded in 2019 are still customers today. But on an annual basis,
on a month-to-month basis, we are churning at about 13%, and that's a number that we are really, really proud of right now. I think there's probably I don't think we're quite at the floor. We have had months where we've been as low as 11%. And for context, in Q3, Q4 of last year, before I had discovered a couple secret weapons to kind of combat retention and churn, I was at over 20%. There was months where I was at 22% churn. There was a couple very, very key things that I was able to implement from a software perspective that kind of adopting more or less from the Hulu model. If you've ever tried to cancel a Hulu account and you get taken through a really fun and engaging cancellation series and sequence, it turns out those work really well. So in addition to ramping up what we have done from a communications perspective, upgrading to 2 newsletters per week that have nothing to do with sales, just sharing information about veganism, beauty, and inclusivity, which is the 3 tenets of our kind of robust editorial platform, to some of these different software solutions that have enabled us and allowed us to really cut churn in a drastic way. We are very comfortable with where we're at from a retention basis today. And also one thing I haven't brought up is we've also found a way while customers are subscribed to get more higher margin dollars out of them. And that's through our upsell opportunities. So every month we launch an add-on shop. That add-on shop is something that we build up a lot of. We do a lot of teasing leading up to the launch of it. We play with scarcity and fear of missing out. And it's a members only exclusive opportunity. And so one morning each month, customers finally get a link that says the doors are open. They flock to the site. We started doing that 3 months ago. And the last 2 months, we've done $23,000 in revenue in 24 hours each of the days. And it's completely sold out of everything in the store within those first 24 hours. And so along with the keeping people around longer, we're also finding these really interesting and scalable ways to get more and more dollars out of each customer for each month they are subscribed.
Got it. And just one last quick question from an acquisition perspective. So what % of your current customers are finding you through organic channels, or maybe like those relationships that you have with these celebrities versus like paid acquisition?
We skew heavily in terms of paid. And part of the reason for that is we have so much success there. So our customer acquisition cost on Facebook is about $25, which for a subscription box is insanely low. We have found that as much as we scale, the more money we throw at it, that number really doesn't change very much, which is one of the reasons why I need a bit more capital to continue scaling what we're doing there. So right now, somewhere between 80 and 85% of our new customer acquisitions are coming in through Facebook and Instagram. We're just in the process of beginning to scale on Google AdWords. We just brought in a new agency to handle that. We are just launching this week for the first time, a really robust affiliate marketing platform. And then my partners, Daniela and Ivana, they do dedicated posts on their social media channels to their 6.5 million followers each month. And each month, those are 2 of our strongest sales days, hands down. So we kind of are really attacking our customer acquisition from like every angle. And we still have a lot more to do. We haven't yet dipped our toes into SMS marketing. That's something that I am very, very, very eager to bring a marketing person in-house to have the bandwidth and the opportunity to do. We're not doing anything yet with loyalty programs. Again, that's something that should help with retention and keeping folks around longer. There's really a lot of low-hanging fruit around acquisition opportunities that we are just now starting to take seriously as we scale in an effort to frankly get that 80 to 85% number from paid ads on Facebook down to something more like 60 to 70%. That's definitely a goal of mine over the next year or so.
Awesome. Thumbs up all around. That was fantastic, Andrew. Thanks a lot for the pitch, and congrats on all the growth thus far. Hopefully we see you guys get to 25,000 subscribers on the conservative side.
Yes.
Really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. But great pitch. Thanks so much for participating in this first episode here. I'm going to kick you now, and I'm going to bring up Cameron for the last part of the webinar.
I appreciate it. It's really fun. Thank you.
Cheers, Andrew. Thanks. Okay, we're going to bring up Cameron now from Kitty and Vibe. Give us a second here to invite her on stage. Great pitches so far. Love to see Dope and Counter Beauty. And we're all going to be thoroughly impressed with Kitty and Vibe as well.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Cameron, what's going on?
So good to see you all. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Better to see you. First of all, you have a great brand. We all know that. You've generated a lot of hype, even in just having conversations with people around the clock. Everyone knows about you, which is great news. I'm not gonna say too much more. I'm not gonna spoil the surprise. I'll turn it over to you, and you can kind of get started here. You've got 10 minutes to go.
Okay, perfect. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Can everybody see this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, great. So I'm Cameron Armstrong, CEO and founder of Kitty and Vibe. I'm super excited to tell you that better swimwear is out there. So obviously this panel is of all men, but I'm relying on the women that are joining this call today. If you can drop in the chat, how many of you have ever been frustrated buying a swimsuit? Because I'm sure it is the majority of you. So the swimsuit industry is pretty insane. It's expected to be $23 billion globally by 2021, yet women are extremely dissatisfied with the product. It doesn't fit well. These exclusive marketing campaigns, you can see here, these are all ads that I've been hit with in the last couple of months, which clearly depict only one type of beauty, and it is very skewed and unhealthy. And in addition to that, the swimsuit shopping experience to buy it is super uncomfortable. If you order it online, half the time it never fits. If you go into a store, usually you have to get naked in a fitting room, and it's very uncomfortable, and the whole experience is just not a win. So the solution is Kitty and Vibe. So I set out to make the swimsuit shopping experience better. First and foremost is our sizing metric, which I'm glad you've heard of before. It's the first to market sizing metric, which takes into account both your hip and inseam. I'll speak to in a minute. We really are a community-obsessed brand, community-driven, and all of our product launch decisions are made via Instagram poll. And so our community really feels like they're seen through our campaigns, they're heard through our crowdsourcing, and at the end of the day, we really exist to awaken and fuel self-love for a kinder world. So here in Kelsey and Andrew, I'm so glad that there are other brands out there as well that are really focused on this kindness aspect that can make the world a better place. So going into our secret sauce, which is the kitty size. So for men, the best way I can describe this is maybe when you're buying a pair of pants, you would buy a 32 long per se. And for women, when you're buying a bikini bottom, you would be bucketed into a small, medium, large. You don't have those multiple options. So I created the kitty size, which takes into account your hip and inseams for your best fit yet. So you have no fabric sagging on your butt or too little fabric. So you can see here at the bottom, these two women have identical hip sizes, yet differing booty sizes. So woman on the left is a size L1 in kitty, and on the right is a size L2. So proof of concept here on the right is this shows our sales splits across all of our size range since I started Kitty in May of 2018. And on the left, you can see that the 2 range, so anybody that bought a swimsuit in that larger booty range, whether it's an S2, M2, L2, the sales were 53% and the 1 range is 47%. So really strong proof of concept here that this extra dimension was needed. And this just kind of paints the picture of what people feel about this. So these are all direct reviews coming from our site. You can see people saying, having 2 booty sizes is absolutely genius. It allowed me to finally find a bikini bottom that fits. I never realized other bikini bottoms didn't fit me until I tried Kitty's. I ordered the M2, which is the perfect amount of coverage. So I just love to paint this picture of real, honest reviews of women saying, finally, something fits me. Now this piece, Sweeeet, you said something about intangible assets, and I really feel like this is my biggest intangible asset. When I created Kitty in May of 2018, I was working at L'Oreal at the time in operational marketing, came from business and marketing, had no experience in designer fashion. So it was very natural for me to ask my friends and Instagram following, okay, if I launch a swimsuit, what do you want me to make? And this is still in the DNA of our brand today. It's the highest engagement we get on the platform with an average of 1,000 votes per poll. And it makes us enabled to make really smart inventory purchases. So you can see here on the right, this phone shows a poll we put up in fall of 2019 of 2 print options, one a light blue, one a terracotta. We said, which one do you want? And then I bought inventory based off of this poll. And on the right shows the sales splits for our first 60 days of revenue of these 2 suits, and the sales split is identical to that of the poll. So really being able to make as smart of inventory buys as possible through this intangible asset. Next, you can see the momentum. So it has been a wild ride. I started Kitty in May of 2018, and up until about 8 weeks ago, I've done this entirely by myself. And so I am raising money so I can have help and wake up in the morning and do this with a full team. But since the onset of COVID, it's been really insane. Year-to-date sales versus last year is plus 113%. Gross revenue all-time has surpassed $500,000, which was a huge pinch me moment for me. Given 3 years ago, I knew nothing about bikinis. So this was really cool. And our customer base has grown, has doubled pretty much since the beginning of COVID. We've now sold a kitty to everyone in the US, every US state, not everyone in the US, I wish, but every US state. And our repeat customer rate on our most recent launch was 40%. Our website conversion rate has doubled in 2020 with an investment in some web development. Our industry low return rate is 15%. I think this is really important because when you buy a kitty, it comes to your doorstep with a curated playlist that matches the vibe of your suit, hence why it's called Kitty and Vibe. And you can see here, this swimsuit is called the Sophia. The playlist is very homegrown. It's very kind of like country-esque. And it comes to your doorstep with an intention card that says, okay, listen to this playlist first before you try on the swimsuit, dance around your bedroom, get into a positive mental state. And it really sets her up for success to enjoy the experience, because a swimsuit is the most vulnerable piece of clothing you wear in public. And if you don't love it the moment you try it on, how are you supposed to love it on the beach? So this, I think, absolutely contributes to our low return rate. The average return rate for Ecomm Swim is 30%. Our profit margin is healthy. Given the intricacy of the style, it ranges between 66 and 71%. This is inclusive of shipping and packaging as well. And our average order value is $95. This is a chart that just walks you through the growth. 2020 versus 2019, and the dips here is just when I've sold out of inventory and tried to restock, but you can see really strong growth in 2020. And this slide speaks to the profitability. So if you look at the revenue split between paid and organic, I identify our biggest organic channels as word of mouth, direct search, organic social media, email marketing, organic brand partnerships, and that makes up 60% of the current business. Now, 40% is paid. Currently, we're only running paid media on Instagram and Facebook. I put here self-sufficient because I spend about 30 minutes a month on this. Just look at it, make sure that it hasn't hit the campaign budget, and let it fly. So you can see down here, since this is just literally a screenshot from Facebook, March 1st through July 31st, 92K in website conversion, and we've spent 16. So this is really awesome. And the only time we see that CAC of $16 start to increase is when we've sold out. Growth opportunities. So first and foremost, category expansion. So everybody that has fallen in love with the kitty sizing metric, it's the first thing that fits her booty is like, please, can you make this in my favorite pair of leggings or underwear? And so this is a really great opportunity to bring our one-of-a-kind sizing metric to other products that she's asked for. Next, I'd say partnerships. So since we're such a community-driven brand, I'm so glad that someone mentioned about someone heading to one of our parties, and we really create this community aspect. We're looking to kind of dive into other like-minded brands that have similar communities and do partnerships. So one exciting one we have coming up is with Kiehl's in September, and obviously this is free and a great way to acquire new customers. Next, e-retailer wholesale. So I mentioned the vibes that we launched. You can see this woman here is wearing what's called the Ashton vibe. It's one of our best sellers, and that playlist is very kind of more rock and roll, a little more grungy feel. And I think it's a really strong opportunity to expand into wholesalers that are online, so she can still have the strong experience at home, but develop a vibe specific to that retailer. So that would be the biggest strategy I have for breaking into wholesale. And then international expansion. So we've dabbled a little bit in paid advertising internationally, specifically with Australia and New Zealand. And the CAC during the campaign is usually, or the ROAS rather, is around 2x, but then over 6 months, we see that go to 20x. So I think there's really strong potential to make people outside of the US fall in love with Kitty and develop a strategy, especially hopefully once the pandemic dies down, we can really dive into international expansion. And lastly, my growth plan. So like I mentioned, I launched this by myself in May of 2018. I came up with this idea when I was 24, and I am so ready to go to work with a team. So first and foremost, I am raising money so that we can build the founding team. I have this set up to be about 30% of a $1.5 million raise. The other 30% would be straight into inventory financing and also R&D of developing those new product categories that people are asking for. And lastly, marketing, being able to really scale those channels. I mean, if you look at that 40% of our revenue coming from paid, that at the unit economic level is already profitable, being able to scale those and also dip our toe into expanding into Pinterest, Snapchat. I don't do anything right now on paid search or SEO and would love to. And there's a lot of room to grow on our web development as well. So that is a snapshot of Kitty and Vibe.
A very impressive snapshot.
I was nervous
Sweet.
because I couldn't see your faces the whole time. So I was just like, I hope this is live.
Oh, wait, we missed the whole presentation.
I was like, I feel like someone would catch me. My mom would be like, you're going off. So I hope you saw everything.
We got it, and it was super impressive. Sumit, looks like you're off mute there, so I'll let you go ahead first.
Yeah, so Cameron, great presentation. And just as an FYI, I've been following Kitty and Vibe over the past couple of years, actually. And so I was the person who actually mentioned about the party. One of my favorite people and humans, an incredible female founder, or incredible founder, I should say, Lauren Billy from All Bodies, went to your party. And so she took a bunch of photos across it all. And I was like, where is this? What is this brand? Because I'd heard a lot of my various friends in the space were talking a lot about it. And first, also, you've been kind of watching from here. Secondly, have a lot of definitely guidance and things to share from as well. So back during the first fund that I worked through, we invested in a lingerie, swimwear, loungewear, and activewear brand called Naja that makes all their products in-house down in Colombia right now. So definitely we'll share some of that afterwards in terms of the growth.
Cool.
Makes obviously a lot of sense of your attraction. So a couple of questions. One, where are you currently sourcing your products right now in terms of everything? And how much of is that in terms of the contract? Is it secured? Is it more exclusive? I'd really like to understand that as well, because it looked like you said you had a 60% profit margin across with your products right now. Secondly, I understand that you have 3 main product lines across it as well. And it's exciting to see how you've been using customers to get new designs from there. Have there even been conversations in terms of people helping to design patterns and empowering various women who can basically use that in terms of, as you're voting up, build a future opportunity in terms of encouraging and engaging your customers to make really awesome next generation swimwear from the products and patterns that they've introduced, and of course getting voted up into there. Just a random thought process, because I think, especially since you're empowering women from there, you have an unexpected opportunity for them to even, showcase what they've been creating, but who knows, maybe through rev share, make money in the process from it. That just came up all of a sudden as an idea.
Cool.
So
it's brilliant. Great idea. So first of all, manufacturing, it's funny, I actually saw my manufacturers on here. So hi, Stacey and Diane. They're very supportive. So it's made in Bogota, Colombia as well. Colombia churns out great products. So I reached out to the world. Yes, I reached out to my manufacturing company in October of 2017. I said, hi, I don't know anything about swimsuits. I have a great idea. Can you make me something? And we have had a beautiful relationship. It's great because they really focus on the design and the production, whereas I wear the business hat. So in terms of scaling from the manufacturing side, we currently have all of our products made in one factory in Bogota. At this factory, they are running 2 other lines currently, swim lines, but we have the capacity to grow and use the entire factory. And then my manufacturer also has relationships with 7 other factories across South America that we could expand into. So great relationship there. And then in terms of voting on the vibes, yes, we absolutely, I love this idea of maybe working and doing a collaboration with a female artist to actually create the print. Everything we launch, the first process you'll see up on the Instagram tonight, we're doing a whole series on underwear. The first thing is hey, what are you craving right now? Do you want a small scale print? Do you want a bright print, a gingham print? Just open it up to a blank slate, take all their ideas, and then we present the community with some more options and just fine tune it from there. But I think it's a really good idea to do the process beginning to end, maybe as an artist competition where the community votes on all of the artwork that's entered, and then we actually produce the one that wins.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of incredible opportunity to add as an additional differentiator on the marketing front, but also just bringing this incredible customer journey to it. So like I say intangible assets from it, but it's really about like one thing that we focus on in SwiftArc is this idea of the customer journey. Like how are you listening from them? How are you empowering them across it as well? So we've got a lot to talk about offline. And if you haven't connected with Lauren, I highly recommend you do. Worst case, I can make that as well for what she's been building as an incredible platform for women's health. So, but also just as you're looking through various partners, but we'll be in touch on it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sweeeet.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to jump in. First of all, congratulations on all the success so far. Being a solo founder, I know it's incredibly hard, and you have something I think it's just incredibly impressive. Honestly, the only question I have is like, have you considered other alternative sources of capital? Because I think a 5.7x ROAS probably, I haven't been around the block long enough, but that's probably the highest ROAS I've ever heard. And I think the Clearbanks of the world should be come knocking at your door.
Yeah, they are knocking at my door.
I'd imagine.
I get a lot of emails from Clearbank. Yes, I have. Or do you want to finish?
No, go ahead.
Yes, I have considered that, and I think especially. I was talking to an investor recently. I feel like something really smart is to do kind of a dual path with a raise that is really focused on building the community and building the actual founding team, and also the marketing being one type of raise, and then using something like Clearbank purely for inventory financing and not giving away equity for that type of capital. I think doing some type of joint raise could be quite smart. At this point, honestly, I just feel like I have such a strong machine at my hands that I'm struggling to keep up with, and I am wanting to do this larger raise just so I can start building this team, and I can do this with other people.
I was actually going to ask you about the team, Cameron. You said you bootstrapped everything, that you're a solo founder. Have you been doing everything on your own?
Until about 8 weeks ago, I have a beautiful new colleague, Natalie. She's on here as well. But up until June 1st, so for about, I started developing it in October of 2017. So truly 2.5 years. I've done this by myself. When I was at L'Oreal, it looked like waking up early in the morning to go to the post office, go to work all day, come home, answer all the customer service, talk to manufacturer, do everything at night. And then when I launched, I did about 4 months of doing both the full-time role at L'Oreal and Kitty. And then when I finally quit, I still did fulfillment for 16 months by myself. So the first 5,000 orders was with these two hands. And I just integrated into an amazing 3PL. I was accepted into the incubator program with Quiet Logistics. They are the fulfillment behind Bonobos, Outdoor Voices, Away, you name it. So they take 6 small startups a year to kind of curate their fulfillment and really help you scale. So thank goodness I got into there in December before this crazy year, because I don't know what I would have done. So that really took a lot of time off my hands, but truly, I think this is what shows how powerful Kitty is, because if all of this was being able to be done with one person, imagine if I had 3 people. I can't imagine it. So yeah, I just hired someone who has really taken the creative role off my hand, who's really managing, elevating the brand, has totally taken on email marketing, which is a great channel of ours. And I think my next hire, I am really starting to drown in terms of just operations and finance. I need someone to help me with this, especially as I continue to struggle with stock outs and being able to really get ahead of my inventory forecasting. I need help there.
Gotcha. So one quick follow up on that as well, and I was literally just trying to find this through. It actually just popped up through my LinkedIn. I think one of the former top executives at L'Oreal just launched a $10 million fund dedicated as well to female founders and growth. I was literally trying to dig through my LinkedIn to find this. Unfortunately, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding that same post from here. But if I do, I'll make sure to kind of follow up from it there. But you should probably reach back out to your network too. Absolutely. From that as well.
Well, and that's where the Kiehl's partnership came to be. That Kiehl's is owned by L'Oreal, and an old coworker was like, "Hey, I love what you're doing. Let's do something together. I have 1 million followers on my fingertips. Let's get you known. So yeah, L'Oreal has also been really supportive. They didn't give me too much shit when I quit.
That's good. That's always good. One quick follow-up question, and then that's it for me, is it Natalie? I think that's it. Yeah, Odell. Yes, that's it. Actually, Natalie just wrote it right in. Yeah,
that's my employee.
Oh my God! Yeah, I just saw that come through. So Odell is a colleague connected with me through LinkedIn. So I have to. Yeah, here it is. So it is called Fab Co-Creation Studio Ventures, and it was Lancome, not L'Oreal. I apologize. But that was just the thing. I mean, still awesome.
Yeah. Great.
But my other quick question is, let's talk about the partnerships, because I saw everything that's ranging between, beauty brands, working through other product brands, designers across it all. What would be the kinds of dream categories that you're looking for in your terms of partnerships, especially for what's been working, what's been turning around in terms of customer engagement, et cetera, from there?
Yeah, I think something really interesting would be to take some type of product that works in conjunction with swim that's not a direct competitor. So say a beach towel company or water bottle or tote bag that also really likes to pride themselves on really funky products, standout prints. I'm thinking of something like Bagoo, for example, who has those great reusable bags that people wear as beach bags. I feel like doing a partnership with them where they take our limited edition prints that are made in-house, put it on their bag, and they're sold together, and being able to either sell it both on their site and Kitty's site to make sure that every single sale, both from their end and my end, has both products.
Awesome. Wow, we're doing great for time. We're just under the hour-and-a-half mark. So what we're going to do, and thanks again, Cameron, that was fantastic. Great Q&A period, great pitch, as we all expected. So that's fantastic. So what we're going to do, Sweeeet, Vlad, and Daver and I are going to sync offline just on WhatsApp for a quick minute, talk about who we think the winner might be. I mean, it's so tough, right? There were 3 great pitches, and I think, to be honest, I mean, you're all winners. There's no way to pick a winner of this competition, but we will do it just because we have a couple of rewards that are going to the top founder for this competition. So give us a couple of minutes here. We're going to sync offline, and Cameron, we're going to kick you off stage for now, but we'll announce the winner live on this webinar, and then we'll be in touch with the founder who wins after the fact. So thanks so much, Cameron. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Also, guys, as we do this, if you have any questions, feel free to toss them in the chat below, and we'll make sure to put you in touch with the founders if that's something that you would like to do. We're also going to send out a recording of this through all our streams, including all the registrants for this webinar. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in live. Really appreciate it. But we want to make sure to get all your questions answered within reason. Okay, I think we've come to a decision. It was super tough, but in talking offline, 3 really great pitches. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, there was one that slightly stood out on top of everything, although it was super tough. Can't stress that enough. So we're going to give this to Cameron of Kitty and Vibe. She did a phenomenal job of pitching her business. Obviously, she's got a great brand and a great story, and she talks about it very well in a very convincing fashion. And I think all 3 of the investors were impressed by her, including the others as well. But congratulations, Cameron. That was fantastic. Thank you for being on the first episode of Vested Interest, and congratulations for being the first winner of this competition. Again, a bunch of rewards from our agency partners out there that we're going to communicate to all 3 of the brands that participated today. So thanks again to Andrew and to Kelsey as well. Great pitches, great stories, great brands. And Cameron, we're going to get you a guaranteed conversation with an investor here, and also a benefit from our partners over at Class Rebel. But I have a feeling maybe one of the investors wants to talk to one of the other two brands as well. So we'll be sure to make that happen if that's the case. Aside from that, really appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks again to the investors as well. So Sumit from SwiftArc, Dave from Rosecliff, and Vlad from Secocha. You guys have been great. Thank you for participating on the first episode of Vested Interest. We're going to try to run this every couple of weeks, have some new brands and some new investors on every episode. And we're happy to run this and help companies scale and help investors source some new deals potentially. That's what we're here to do. Awesome, guys. Really appreciate the time. We're going to log off now. Thanks for tuning in. Please get in touch with me if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll get this recording out to you over email. Cheers.